Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode. So today's episode, we're going to discuss closure. How to move forward when you don't have the closure that you want. So many times, having closure is the ultimate letting go phase for us. But at times, we don't get that closure because breakups can be difficult. Even when we get that often desired last conversation with someone, we learn what we could have done to be a better partner, understanding why the relationship failed, or for feedback on a certain aspect of the relationship. But closure requires the cooperation of two parties, and sometimes one party is unwilling and unable to have this final dialogue with us. So at times, we have no choice but to accept the truth rather than waiting or begging for closure. And that is the first step in healing, because we can't heal if we keep holding on and questioning that why another person acted the way they act, or why another person stopped talking to you when they stopped talking to you. So the many steps in that is just giving yourself permission. I don't care if it takes days, weeks, or even months, because you will have that time frame, that lapse, where you have all these mixed emotions. But rather than beating yourself up or still being angry or sad, confused, or ashamed, you have to give yourself permission to feel everything that you are feeling without judging yourself. So instead of pushing your emotions away, allow them to flow freely for as long as you need them to be, but not too long. Don't stay in that hole too long. But there's no exact equation of how long you should give grief, depending on the length of the relationship. You can grieve for years, but I don't care how many years it might take you. Just give it a year until you can stop letting it overpower you. Because prolonged or incomplete grief may result in poorer future choices that you make. Just that poor decision making that we have. People make poor choices all the time because of previous relationships, because that lack of closure that they got from the other person. Find that closure within yourself so you can move on and you can be happy, because you deserve it at the end of the day. Even if you have to write an open-ended letter to yourself. Dear me, write that letter. Love me, goodbye. And fold it up, burn it, flush it down the toilet, whatever it is. Give your own self the closure that you need. Because this relying on someone else's validation of you, validation of whys, how would that make you feel if the closure happens and they say it was everything within you? Then you're going to still walk around with that guilt on your mind, thinking of things you could have did differently to keep that person next to you. When at the end of the day, if you're dealing with somebody that don't take accountability for nothing, guess what? They are going to look at you as being the issue. They are going to look at you as being the reason as to why stuff ended. So you have to be able to find that closure within yourself. The desire to want closure in any given situation is human nature. We like to have things come full circle, and we want explanations for things we don't understand. We can find it very difficult to move forward if we don't have the type of closure that we want. So don't be in that bubble of not being able to move forward, because we start asking, we wonder, and we ponder. We have thoughts that run through our brains about why we aren't getting the response we desire so much. We create stories about why people aren't responding in the way we hoped. So in me saying that, what good is the closure if they are pointing the finger at you as being the problem? Because if it's not the response that you want, you're going to still beat yourself up. So that's why I say you have to protect yourself. You have to understand who you are as an individual, as a person, mind, body, spirit. to understand and to know. Because once you accept yourself wholeheartedly, everybody else will. And then if somebody don't accept you wholeheartedly, guess what? You can walk away with a clear conscience because you presented your authentic self to whatever situation that you walked into. So they knew what they were getting. They were not getting a representative. They were getting who you authentically was. And when doing so, like, we can't see down a rabbit hole. And we go down this hole of unanswered questions and hurt and feelings. So you stay in this bubble, like I said, because you are pondering and you are desiring so much to have these unanswered questions that someone else is not willing to give you. We can't expect the outside world to take care of our feelings. We get to take ownership over them ourselves. You have to practice self-validation and don't allow someone else's feelings about you to dictate how you feel about yourself. And feel how you feel and don't judge yourself for feeling that way. We all have feelings. We all can feel how we feel when we want to feel because they are our feelings. But you are the only person that can validate who you are and how you are feeling. Can't nobody else tell you nothing about who you are. And you can have a few close friends that you can talk to. Having good people in your life that will love and support you through the hard times is an important process in the healing process. But contrary to that, you also, when you are talking to whoever that you are choosing to talk to, you don't talk to them so that they can meditate or help you find solutions. You can talk to them so you can process everything. Like, talking it out to other people is helpful in allowing you to hear it, process it, and figure out a solution. A good conversation with a trusted, confident, who truly wants the best for you would be such a blessing during your healing. Because you're not being judged. You can judge yourself, but they are not judging you. They are listening and they are assisting you in figuring out next steps for yourself. And to get out of the norm and see a different setting will help you clear your mind of the person that you are missing. So you're not sitting around dwelling and trying to figure out and get those whys out your head. Go enjoy yourself. Live your life. Clear your mind. Be free of whatever it is that's bothering you. So when you think of closure, how important is it to allow the closure that you're not getting from the other individual affect the way that you live your life? Like, you have to look at that and think about that. And like I said, about understanding who you are, like letting go of the unhealthy patterns that you might step into. Because if you are fixated on that closure of that other person and allowing it to overpower you, maybe it's something that you should look deep into yourself. Because maybe it's something that we don't see. Maybe it's something that you probably like, oh, this always happened to me. Like, or am I too aggressive? Am I too understanding? Am I not affectionate enough? Then you question yourself, and pretty much that's what you are probably wanting the other person to say to you. Like, you didn't show me enough attention, when it's did. But if you come into the relationship as your authentic self and who you truly are, they gonna know that coming in the gate. So you have to let go of unhealthy patterns that you might hold on to. And then maybe that will allow you to gracefully walk out of relationships and not look at them ghosting you as a sign of pointing the blame at yourself. Like, it won't allow you to want that urgency of them explaining their actions to you in order for you to find peace within yourself. Let me say that again, because I kind of like that. You want another person to explain their reasons why they did something to you in order for you to feel good and validate yourself. Like, does that even sound right to you when I say that? Like, how are you, whatever's coming out your mouth, going to make me feel good or validate who I am as an individual? So if we did something that we would rather not repeat, it's important to reflect and learn the lessons so we don't make the same choices moving forward. And if you understand that aspect of you or that part of you and you work on yourself in doing so, then that closure, if anything it won't be on you. Because you'll be able to pick yourself up and do something that serves you good in your healing. So a lot of stuff we just have to remember to take care of ourselves. Because sometimes we get so busy taking care of others that we forget that we are important too. We are important to our own self. We are only responsible for us. When we go through life, you can put everything on the back burner, but you can't put yourself on that back burner. You have to live with you for the rest of your life. You have to live with your thoughts, your feelings, your own expectations of yourself for the rest of your life. So not having closure for someone else because something ended should not be the end of you. You should not dwell on that because you know who you are. And I know it's easier said than done to do so because we always want to know the whys. But you have to ask yourself, why is the why so important coming from someone else when you should already know the why? Because then if that person gives you the closure that you're looking for and it turns out that it wasn't you, it was them, how would that make you feel? Would you then in turn want to reevaluate how you approach this individual to make them feel better? Would you then in turn want to change everything about yourself to be who you feel that they want you to be to make them feel good? Because then you're going to be walking around being upset, miserable, because you are not who you truly are, going against your morals, going against who you are, not withholding those boundaries that you have in place because this person is who they are. We don't want that in ourselves. That's not good self-care. It don't help with healing. And what you're doing is enabling that other person. So when we think about the closure and being fixate on that aspect of someone explaining their whys on why they stopped dealing with you, or not even dealing with you, but dealing with you and not even responding to no texts, no phone calls, no letters, no emails, no nothing, you can't let that overpower you. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know what you deserve and realize that reaching out to someone and experiencing silence is actually passive aggressiveness. And it says more about the other person than it does about you. So when you look at it in that light, that should ease you. That should ease that guilt that you may be holding, that anger, that sadness, that thought of unanswered questions. So you have to realize in experiencing a lack of communication, you have to then realize that you deserve better. And you get to move on and know that you are worth more. Because somebody can't even give you the respect of communicating with you after you spent ample amount of time with each other. Know your worth and know that, okay, it is what it is. So thank y'all for listening in today. Until next time.